Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. The Walking Dead, Season 8, Episode 8, the mid-season finale, How It's Gotta Be, and we got rid of that goon with the dreads. And tonight we have with us a very special co-host for tonight's episode, The Walking David. Welcome back, Walking David.
Thanks for having me back, buddy.
Oh, it's always good to have you back, and all the kids loved. I mean, ignore these sounds, ignore like anything you hear like this. Oh no! Come on, no, people, be nice to David. No, it's great to have you, David.
Those fucking kids.
Fuck those kids, man. Fuck them.
Those kids.
But the kids that are awesome and the ones that are watching us as well, we have to say a big welcome to the live motherfucking chat that's joining us tonight. We got DJ Bitter, Timo, Midnight Chat Attack with Nick Diaz over there, who was totally correct in predicting this a couple weeks ago. What happened tonight? Negan had a bat wrapped in barbed wire. He could beat up Rick, but he deserved to be the leader of everything. Okay, we got Philip and David here tonight to talk about the mid-season finale. They hyped this episode up all week as the big surprise everyone will be talking about at the end of this episode. And I gotta say, it's true. I am talking endlessly about the amazing use of face montages in this episode and this whole season as a whole. The close-up face montage is what I'm going to be talking about the whole season. No, obviously we're talking about the fact that there was a walker in tonight's episode, or that Claimer Joe got the red machete. No, I think they're talking about Karl, right? Oh wait, I got to get to David. David, it's on David.
This is our face montage, bud. Here we go.
Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. We're really glad you're going to be here tonight.
There's walkers out there.
Oh, I want to die.
Lots of walkers out there.
Negan, I want to die. Can we eat spaghetti tonight?
You suck ass, Rick.
Oh, so David, I haven't really got a chance to talk to you too often about this season. So what are kind of some of your general thoughts overall? But actually, no, I'll hold off on that. Let's talk about the big thing for tonight. Karl apparently getting bit in last episode when we saw him holding off the walkers. I guess that's when he got bit, but we didn't actually see the moment. How did you think in this episode the reveal of that and all of that was done in this episode? Were you excited? Was this the thing you're going to be talking about and thinking about? Was this a high enough high for you at the end of the mid-season finale, David?
No.
Sorry. No. I honestly want you to say nothing else. No, that's it.
No.
And just in general, how do you feel about the season? Because I mean, you're called The Walking David. You love this show more than some and have an affinity for it. So how do you feel this season in this mid-season finale?
I will say this. I think this season has been way better than last season. Mm-hmm. But that's not saying much. The only reason is because every time Negan's on screen, they don't make him say the same 5 sentences like one of those dolls you pull the string on, like just like, you were there at the head thing. You suck ass, Rick. You know, like it was the same shit every single season. But this season they've given him a little bit more dialogue, a little bit more character development, which he needed last season. We shouldn't have had to learn more about Negan an entire season later. It's like, when does that fucking happen? You know, we learned about every single character we've ever been introduced to, a lot of their backstory, Abraham's backstory, Eugene's backstory, Rosita's, Michonne's, all of that leading up series regular on the show. And Negan was the only person that we skipped an entire season before he figured out any of that shit.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be just sold on sort of his personality. I do want to say in the live motherfucking chat, if anyone wants to get their thoughts in here for David and I about this mid-season finale, if you agree with us, disagree with us, whatever, we love to hear it. You can call in at 781-990-8509. You can also text in that number. You can also email me at igotissuesman@gmail.com. But if you want to, definitely call in and leave a voicemail. We'd absolutely love to hear what you guys thought, especially people that really were engaged and loved this finale. Because I'm just curious about it. Because it's not that I was underwhelmed with this finale. I was just a lot of it a little bored at times, and there was a little bit of repetition going on with it. The Karl stuff was one thing, and the leading up to all of that, I just think they called their shot a little bit too much of it. In the first 3 seconds of the episode, you knew something bad was going to happen to Karl. It's just the focus was on him. The editing was focused on Karl. You're like, oh, he hasn't had a focus all season. Guess something bad's going to happen to him. And at the end of the episode, a couple people are asking in the live chat, what happened? Does he want to leave the show? I think it's very interesting that they didn't kill him. They ended it on the pullout, that long extended pullout, zoom out of Karl, like of everyone figuring out or finding out that Karl was bit, but he didn't die. So he's probably going to be in most of the episodes in the back half of the season too, I would think, or at least a few of them. He's not.
You think Karl's going to be in the majority of the next few episodes?
David, this whole season has been an hour. This whole season has been an hour. The next season could just be Rick and Karl in a room talking for 12 episodes, dude.
Phil, it hasn't been an hour. It's been like the better part of an afternoon. Okay, so
okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
There was an evening where they devised a plan. They got, they had a little D&D, some dinner, and they go, you know what? I think this is what we're gonna do. And then the next day, midday or so, they started. So.
And I'm not saying they're going to keep him alive for a long period of time, but I think it was an interesting or whatever choice that they didn't kill him in this episode. So he'll obviously at least be back for the premiere episode. And now that we're seeing a lot more playing with space time on The Walking Dead, where it's just shifts in time, and we're also skipping a lot of the good stuff at times in this episode. We see all of our characters. One of the biggest moments that I actually felt something in this episode was the car accident. I know car accidents are kind of a cliche in television. They come out of nowhere and you can almost see them coming. I didn't see this car accident coming, and it stepped, and then suddenly all three people from the car accident are in three different locations, and we just skip this block of time of how they survived that accident, what caused the accident. Maybe we'll flash back to this, and I'll sound like an idiot next season, but still, like, I wanted to know that information. That was like part one of the things I was slightly engaged with, and they just kind of yada yada, and you see, oh well, Carol's here, Jerry's here, and Rick's here. I don't know. I didn't necessarily like that, and I don't like the constant messing around with time that they're doing this season and trying to over intellectualize it a little bit.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And kind of touching back on when you asked me earlier, like my overall thoughts of this season, or this first half of it.
Hey, Don.
I'll say this: the first few episodes, they kind of were giving me a little bit more hope that the show is picking up on a better pace. Like they were getting a better grasp of it, regardless if they're doing time jumps and stuff like that. It was at least changing things up enough to where I was like, okay, well, this could actually be really interesting. We're getting to see a little bit more focus on Rick, a little bit more focus on Daryl. But interspliced with those good decisions and some decent acting on Andrew Lincoln and Norman Reedus's and Michonne's part, they would splice in just real shit dialogue between side characters and cutaways and dumbing down of the gore. I'm like, do you understand that in the season we saw a guy get his face bitten off and we just watched it happen in real time, and we saw Tyrese's throat get ripped out, and Rick Grimes, the main fucking character, throat bit a dude.
Claimer Joe, who we actually saw tonight.
Joe,
where we saw tonight in the red machete thing. I agree with you. The show's lost its balls in an episode where they hyped a big death and a big moment and all this sort of stuff. Or they didn't hype a big death. To be fair, it was right. The people that said this, they were absolutely right. It wasn't a death. It was a moment that they hyped. The people that they killed, the big moments that they had, even with someone like Jerry, Ezekiel's number one, that a lot of people do like, and he has like a group of people that watch the show that really like that character and think he's funny and think he's an interesting addition to the show and all of that. They have him lined up down at a point in time in this episode where his life was in danger and someone was just going to get killed. Shocking. So instead of killing him, they killed a guy that had one line in the back of the car. And
oh my God.
They don't even really show it. They kind of make it, like, at least from my visual, I'd have to rewatch the episode. I was like, oh,
was that the dude from like Home Improvement, like one of the ZZ Top guys? Like,
I think so. It was the guy in the back seat earlier in the episode that had the one funny line when
he goes, "Damn right,
you're damn right," or something like that.
Damn right, I'm one of those Walking Dead randos. Just happen to be next to the main character when something bad goes down.
I have a line. I am guaranteed dead in 20 states. It's dead on arrival, dude. Oh, it's great to see. Dawn says, funny how we barely see Karl this season. As soon as we see him, he's fucking dead. And again, I don't mean to compare it to this, but again, it's like something if you're watching like the TV show Survivor or some shit like that, you don't see a character all season long, and then they suddenly start talking, and you're like, that person's the person getting eliminated from the fucking show. Karl, tonight, you knew him. You knew right from the moment this episode started with the choice of music. And again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time like last week attacking the music, but again, the music is great, but it just seems like it's being designed for a different show, or it's too leading. The sad melodic music all episode with Karl, again, double gutballed what the reveal was going to be at the end of the episode. One, it got gutballed last episode at the end of the episode when saying it's a big reveal, and then in the thing you're going to be talking about, don't tell me what I'm going to be talking about. Fuck you. Get your fucking head out of my ass, you motherfucker. Like, don't tell me what I'm going to be talking about or what I'm going to be hyped out. The proof is in the fucking pudding. Cliches are fucking dumbass cliches.
Oh, shut the fuck up. That's too funny. I was just imagining like The Walking Dead. Get your head out of my ass. Like that was like the subtext of the show.
T-shirt. Someone email me that.
Get your head out of my ass.
Walking Dead, get your head out of your ass with a picture of Joe. And I'm not saying it just seems to me that, I don't know, they have these opportunities, they have these moments, they build up these tensions. It's not devoid of talent or effectiveness happening on the show. David mentioned it a few minutes ago, and Joe and I talked about this last week. The acting is consistently really good on this show. The characters understand who the fuck they are, and it's the writing works against them. It's almost funny at the beginning of this episode when we're getting all the face shots and all the face shots of everyone as we were showing earlier. Then it goes to Negan, who's smiling and looks at the camera like, you thought you were going to get a good episode, didn't you?
Yeah, okay. And that was one where they have those moments, like when Rick just goes like, do you ever shut up? Like, that stuff's great. I love it when they acknowledge
that was
the
perfect.
Character is full of shit. I think that's perfect.
That was perfect.
It would be like if like somebody said to Enid, like, won't you just die already? Like, that would be amazing. I would rate it the best season so far if someone just goes like, Enid and Tara are standing next to each other and they just go, oh, look at these two dumb cunts. You know, I think that would be my favorite season just because
I do have to say a couple things I did really like about this episode. I liked Maggie in this episode. She was a little bit back to old Maggie form for me.
Yes.
I liked how I just felt like she was just a little bit more centered in character, like a little bit less jumpy with some of her line deliveries and shit like that. And I feel like Maggie was actually back. A couple times this season, I felt Maggie was back. And there was almost a little bit of about time, but I'm glad she didn't hesitate and she just fucking killed that guy. And I love that Jesus just doesn't have anything to say. It's just walk right the fuck past him. But the biggest problem with this episode that I have is the repetition of it. Again, it didn't need to be an hour and a half. I don't understand. And I know this podcast doesn't need to be 2 hours. I get it. I know someone's thinking it. Shut the fuck up, Phil. Get to the point. But it seems like they could have cut out 2 or 3 bad guy, Negan guy monologues. If they were going to kill all the saviors at the end of this episode and like all the people we like from the saviors, like Gavin or Simon or whatever, like they were going to die. I get giving them each individual bad guy scenes where they needed to be taken down one at a time as funny bad guys. But no, they survived and we get the same speech 3 times. Once from Negan, once from Simon, once from Gavin in 3 different locations. And then with Ezekiel, it was he just sat in his ass with his finger up his bum. That's a lot of ass. He just sat there with his finger up his bum for 2 episodes so he'd be around at the perfect opportunity to go around and then sacrifice himself for everybody. It was just a little bit too conveniosity going on in this episode, David.
Yeah, and I don't like ham-fisted plot ever. Like where things that you're supposed to feel as the audience are being said out loud as if like it's coming to the character's thought because they're spoon feeding it directly to you. That drives me nuts. Like, we should see Karl's mentality of like, you know, you need more hope than this, Dad, in his actions, not in his words.
it just it hurt. It doesn't hurt me. It sucks. It hurts me. It hurts me from like a love of television standpoint. Like it's not keeping me up at night, but it hurts me from a love of television standpoint because it seems like there's a good episode in there. I know Joe somewhere is watching this, throwing shit at the computer screen or his phone, saying, no, there's nothing good. But there's something good in this episode if it was edited tighter, had a little bit faster pace between lines. There were several moments in this episode where there were these type of things for an hour-and-a-half episode that's supposed to be an exciting season finale, where it'd be like, David, wait. I'm really angry. You know, moments like that where they have these like long pauses. It's
too.
I agree. I mean, I love
Karl.
And I'm really upset about Karl. But no, there was so many moments. See, now we're going to get trapped in that. But it's that pacing is going a lot with the dialogue or with the and it kills scenes, and it's a brick wall. There's not any of that. When you have dialogue, even if it's shitty dialogue, there needs to be a back and forth. There needs to be someone winning, someone losing, some stakes in that scene, not just random words thrown at awkward intervals. And that's what's happening more times than not, and not in a way that they're trying to simulate real life conversation. They're pausing for intensity and momentary and things that they're trying to do. And
it's the Shatner technique.
And it's worse than the dialogue or the writing. I think it's just slowing everything down, and it's making things difficult to, like, the scenes that should be kind of fun and like pop right through are just dragging. And I think that's my biggest problem so far, or with this season, with The Walking Dead in general. And I think part of the problem is it's trying, and I said this all season long, and I'll continue to say this, it doesn't know what kind of show it wants to be. It doesn't want to be a fun zombie kind of crap. They want to have some comedy mixed in there, but now they want to be a deep show. They want to be remembered as a great show, and they're putting all this like bells and whistles and flowered up crap. It reminds me of a rock song with orchestration that doesn't need orchestration. Like, this is a fucking Chinese democracy. Again, it's Axl Rose fucking has too much control, and he's going to make a fucking ridiculous, awful album because he has no one to tell him. He doesn't have Flash to go, Axl, that part fucking sucks. There's no one to tell them that part fucking sucks to create like a good, like a complete whole show. Right now, it's just suffering from, I don't know, bloated, egotistical show creator syndrome.
It needs a lot more intensity. I mean, frankly, it's like the stakes are clearly high. On paper, if you're reading the script, you're going, oh shit, saviors get out. They fucking come to the doors. They're on the microphone. They're knocking on, the ringing the dinner bell kind of thing. And they're blowing up Alexandria. Like, on paper, this probably was the most epic script ever. And and it ends with Karl dying, and all this stuff. And then it's like when they're actually acting in the show, the editing on top of just the lack of intensity, the lack of the music making you feel it at the right moments, and the ratcheting up of emotion, it's not there.
There's just something. There's a missing element for me and for a lot of people, not for everybody. And again, as I always say this, if you love this episode, if you think I or Joe or David or any of the people, Nick or Tony or any of the folks that we've had on this season are incorrect about what our thoughts of The Walking Dead, please let us know in the comment section or call in right now at 781-990-8509 and leave us a voicemail to let us know why you loved this episode. So about time with Maggie, slow start with speech locations, a lot of speech, protecting, calling the shot with Karl, bad pacing, but some interesting stuff in this episode. So
yeah.
So let's not waste any more time, David. Let's get into this. Let's actually talk about this fucking episode. Let's do it. Oh wait. Recap! It's a motherfucking recap! Recap! Motherfucker, recap. You poke a guy in the bat, stick him in the balls. Oh yeah, Negan is gonna kill them all. Motherfucker, eating some spaghetti with Negan. Ah, suck the spaghetti juice. Okay.
Okay.
Suck the spaghetti juice.
Suck the spaghetti juice.
Suck some spaghetti juice, baby.
That's my ringtone.
But again, and this might seem strange, and again, I hear Joe's voice in my head going, shut the fuck up, Phil, somewhere. But
Dude.
I think Negan was, again, one of the highlights of this episode. In general, I think Negan's been one of the highlights of this season, partly because of what David was saying, that I don't think they're writing him exactly the same way in every single episode. They're showing a couple of different sides, or at least, even if you would argue, as Joe would, that he's the same thing every time, they're not using him as much. So when he does show up, the joy of which that he's playing this character with, even if I don't like it, is hard to refute. It's just one of those things that kind of comes through the screen, through at least in the malaise of the bullshit of the music and the scene of nothing happened. Negan coming out there whistling, beeping his horn, talking shit. I kind of liked him in this episode, and I thought he added a lot. And I do want to mention one thing that's been in the news today, that Jeffrey Dean Morgan, apparently, then nothing's confirmed, may be the next Batman.
What?
He might be replacing Ben Affleck as Batman. I don't know if anything of that is confirmed, but I saw that passing my eye at some point. So everyone, we'll talk about that at a later point. I think I've broken David a little bit here.
Cut to a clip of him going, Lucille is a vampire bat. So Batman with a baseball bat. He's just going to be leaning over there. Here's the problem. Once again, if you're going to be Batman, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, gain 40 pounds of muscle. You look like a skeleton. A leather jacket is supposed to make you look intimidating, not make you look like you're an Abercrombie and Fitch model.
And that would help with Negan too.
But that's what I'm saying. Please be the next Batman so you bulk the fuck up, you jackass.
But again, none of that is corroborated. I saw that in passing with, I think I read that of like scrolling through some bullshit. I think I saw a post someone posted. So I don't know if any of that's fact or it's just rumor. So please don't.
It was me. I did it. It's on my Twitter.
Phil said it. It's confirmed. Jeffrey D. Morgan's Negan confirmed.
It's already on AMC, what Phil just said.
It did. It's true.
It's already on AMC.
I confirmed it. Let's go into the live chat for a second here. Cattigat says, hello, Cattigat. Hello, Timo. Casey Atheist. K. Rich. Santovia Major. Generic Perfection. Great to see everyone. Chantel Hayes. Awesome to see so many folks in the live motherfucking chat right now. And thank you to everyone that's joined us. Let's get into talking about this episode. So we open up on Rick, who's saying north, west, south, report. We go over to Karl and Rick, some sort of time jump. It's a time jump or something. This is one of those things that is completely unnecessary. I don't understand why they did this. Why couldn't we have just jumped right into the action? Instead, they intercut this scene of Rick and Karl in the past somewhere. Is that what was going on there? It
was the same episode where Karl first saw Sadiq.
Okay, so it was a few episodes ago, a scene that we didn't see of them walking out to that location or walking back.
Yeah, where he fired the gun over the dude's head because they're trying to remind you. It's like, hey, remember where Karl just figured out that he's also Muslim? That's what they're trying to remind you of. So.
And some other time, we get a time jump or something. There's talking about hope. Karl, we all know at this point in time in the episode, Karl is going to be dead soon. It literally is dead man walking on the on The Walking Dead here. dead man Walking Dead here.
Karl. Not enough. If you give a shit, Karl. If you care,
watch your mouth, Karl.
You don't just hope. It takes more than that. That's what I meant.
Okay, I can't even listen to that anymore. So they intercut.
It's more than that, Dad. I'm trying to sound like I'm getting jaded, but my vocal cords haven't come in yet.
So I have a question about this.
Yeah,
who's having this flashback right now, or is this the
No one's having it. It's just happening.
It's just happening?
It's just happening. Who the fuck would have this? No one else is around.
Isn't it usually most effective when a flashback or something like this is used as a device that a character is having to learn or see something and to expand on a moment? So what I thought they were eventually going to do, David, is I thought they were going to come back to this vision thing one more time and then go into Karl and have the reveal that Karl was bit. But instead, they just do this at the beginning and then they ultimately ditch it. Like, if you're going to do something like this, at least complete the fucking thought and have it come back in that this was a moment in Karl's mind or in Rick's mind as he sees that his son's dying. So, something like that to complete the thought. Instead, and maybe it happened and I missed it, but to me, it just seemed like a big fucking matzo ball hanging out there with my dick in it. It was like my dick was in a matzo ball, David. There was nothing going on there.
Hashtag dicks in a matzo ball.
Yeah, that's the hashtag for the episode. Hashtag dick in a matzo ball.
It's already on AMC. Chris Hardwick's is already using it.
Chris Hardwick's crying about it right now. He's crying. Oh my god, his dick was in a. I can't stand this show. His dick was.
He phones in another Talking Dead episode. Just
poor guy.
Could they just have him stop? Can he just cut it out? Because he's like the Karl of the Talking Dead shit. Like. Or actually, no, he's more of a Rosita of the Talking Dead. You're just kind of like, yeah, he's definitely able to be on it, but he probably should. So
I don't want to talk too much about that. It's just I feel bad. I don't feel bad, but it must be a difficult position where you can't say when you don't like something, where you have to always pretend 100% that you think something's awesome. That would just be a sucky kind of feeling.
Yeah, but it's also, I feel like, for a show like this that can be so divisive, I would love it if a host just goes, I didn't agree with this shit at all. Like, I'm really pissed about it. They kind of
did that in the first couple of seasons of The Talking Dead. I remember Dave Navarro being on one week or something and saying, I thought that was kind of stupid. And strangely, he stopped being, not that I'm a huge Dave Navarro fan, but strangely, he stopped being invited on as a guest. I remember a couple times they've had guests that kind of will say, well, I don't know about this. And then they just don't show up as guests anymore. It's a weird sort of thing. I don't know.
It's a weird fan base. I'll say this, like the Walking Dead family, as they would call themselves. They have the diehard fans will not even listen to decent criticism that's based in some realistic like you have a reason for thinking the way you think about it. Like, oh, I disagree with this because they didn't set it up very well. But they're like, no, every episode of The Walking Dead is absolutely perfect, and if you don't like it, you can suck our dicks. It's like, well. That's just not possible. Even Game of Thrones has filler episodes or boring episodes by comparison to other better episodes. Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's not as good as it could be.
In Hannibal, I totally agree with you. He fucking sucks. That's why I like Porno better than Jane's. Anyways, so or at least that first album. Anyway, so let's continue. So they're talking about Hope and Karl is dead. But we cut to the trash folk and Rick is. I'm glad Joe isn't here because this might have broken Joe. So we cut to the trash folk and Rick's circling and looking at the walkers that are left. And she says, looks different than the picture. Then they suddenly under gunfire and Rick kind of like hides and takes cover. And then we see Rick then we cut to Karl or with Carol and the dude from the Kingdom, Jerry. I forget his name. Or Jerry. And then Rick figures it all out what happens. And the trash people just take off. They didn't stick around to fight with Rick. They just peace out. They're like, once shit gets hairy, they're like, bye. And so we wasted all that time. We wasted a whole fucking episode, 2 episodes of him being naked, getting pictures taken with the trash folk. And they didn't even pan out to do anything again. They backstabbed them again. Great fucking plan, Rick.
I'm sorry, but whoever is convincing them to keep the scavengers as the trash people on there, that is a horrible decision. It is terrible. I mean, literally on the face of it, it's bad writing because they're talking like retards. All right. Like everybody's going, hey, Tommy-ow, show Rick up. Who the fuck talks like that? Cut that out.
Yeah, dude, it's so true. And DJ, yep, I forgot about that. The trash ran away. So what was the fucking point? D says, I thought the length was more about commercials than story content. They need the money for the lawsuits and the executives. We got Penny fucking Lane. Penny Lane. Great to see you. Karl. Do you guys think Karl might live through this somehow? I think he's going to hang on longer than we would imagine him to hang on for. I was saying that earlier. They are so not fast to get rid of any character that wants to stay on. So I wouldn't be surprised if this second half of season 8 is a day and we see.
Oh, fuck off, dude. If that's true, I hope you're so wrong. Like, you might be right, but fuck, I hope you're wrong.
Dude, every season now. But the matter since Tyrese has died probably has been like 3 weeks. Whatever that when Glenn died a week ago, dude. You see how pregnant Maggie looks? Do you see how pregnant Maggie looks? She's not pregnant.
It's okay, guys. Karl went under a dumpster.
Karl is fine. He
went under the sewer.
He used this. David, you're onto something. Dumpster, dumpster sewer,
dumpster sewer, trash people.
He took
Rick up.
He took a salve of sometimes. He went to Miracle Max. That Miracle Max makes a salve that rubs it on, and it's actually going to cure the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, he used some bacitracin.
Bacitracin works.
Cortisone 10.
It absolutely works, David.
I'm surprised they don't ever show that. Like, they don't ever show people like rubbing like steroid cream on like little cuts and stuff. Like, just little shit like that in the background. Like, like that the Muslim lady with a hijab on. Just have her be like, oh, I got a little cut.
People are saying JDM is too freaking old to play Batman. I think the point would be that he'd be playing old man Batman. Someone else said something. And again, none of that is confirmed. We've just read that. I will do a separate cast on that specific subject if that ends up happening. A Negan is Batman video at some point in the future, and we'll flesh that shit out. And I'll tell you guys my thoughts on that. Anyway, so we get Karl, another flashback. He has gas and he's walking and talking about fighting for all of us, not everybody, or something, and kill people or something else. Rick asks about strawberries with Negan, or what do you want me to do? David, what do you want me to do? Pick strawberries with Negan? It was a good line.
What do you want me to go pick strawberries with Negan?
Thank you, David, for being a talking monkey for me. So find another way.
What do you want me to give Negan a massage? You want me to go on a date with Negan?
Well, Daddy, he made me pasta. I think you should try.
I would love it if, like, next season it cut to, like, Karl, like, everyone's saying is, like, immune or something like that. And then, like, Rick comes out and Negan comes out and they're both shirtless and, like, Negan's buckling up his pants and he goes, Karl, like he did with Michonne, you know what I mean? Oh, Karl, no. This is not how I meant to tell you. It just sort of happened.
I'm sorry, Daddy.
It's okay, kid. I'm starting to like you.
So Karl has some fucking stupid flashbacks about strawberries with Negan. We're gonna find another way. We get hopeful music for a second as Rick is seen being pissed off, and we see Karl's face sweating, and then we see Carol's face, and again with the fucking faces. What the fuck? Then we see Ezekiel, we see Maggie, we see Negan, and he turns to the camera, breaks the fourth wall, and goes, "Listen, motherfuckers."
Take 5.
He goes, "All you motherfuckers. Fuck you, bitch." Negan's like, I should have had this queued up. Negan goes,
Fuck you, bitch.
Negan smiles at the camera. Fuck, all that just for the fuck you, bitch. Thank you, Hannibal. Thank you, Hannibal. And it's
was that Randy Newman?
That was Hannibal in the live motherfucking.
Oh, that was Hannibal.
That was Hannibal in the live motherfucking chat.
Thanks, Hannibal.
So yeah, sorry. I needed to go a long way for that joke. That was a little bit of a Mighty Mouse, Kaufman Mighty Mouse going on right there. So anyway, so we can see hopeful music. We see all the fucking close-ups and all that sort of shit. And the walking mat. We have the walking mat in the live chat. They should have shown the scene. Rick tells Karl's mom's gonna die. I'm gonna die. We're all gonna die. Should have played that before Karl's dies. We got Karl's been shot twice. That fucking scratch ain't worth shit. D says they keep calling Karl alive long enough for Enid to give him 7 minutes in heaven. And Karl is also going to college. Thought the showrunners claimed he was purely story.
By the way,
perhaps he's pulling a Joffrey and deciding that he wants to quit acting and go to.
Are those for me? Hey, Timo. Hey, Renwood.
Lots of love. So then we see a car rolling down the street with Enid and Aaron. As much as I love Aaron, we really needed this scene with Enid. And I love how Enid's trying to like prove that her shit's as important as Aaron. Aaron's like, yeah, I lost my husband. Shit's really bad. And she's like, yeah, totally. Me too. I can totally relate to that.
After coming all this way.
Sorry.
That's what I'm talking about those pregnant pauses. Listen to how long it is in between the words of dialogue there.
What?
Eric and I used to take trips like this.
This scene was just torture for me. This was the worst scene in the entire episode. And I love fucking Aaron. And I honestly am lukewarm about Enid, but this was just so long.
I'm not. She sucks.
And so fucking dragging, and they're going to Oceanside because they need these people. They have to have these people. Suddenly, this is the plan. Like, I don't get it. And they didn't take guns because guns are an issue, but they're firing bullets off everywhere. But bullets are an issue. Why are you bringing the Oceanside and the trash people back into this? We have too many characters as is that you're ignoring. You want to bring more storylines back into it? What the flying fuck?
Yeah. Also, they go. She's like looking down at her, script just out of frame, kind of going like, she's fucking terrible, dude. Like really, truly a bad actress. And I know you're not supposed, as an actor, I'm not supposed to say that, but Jesus Christ, like
she's a decent actress for a singer because she's really a singer and she's a really good singer too.
Phil, I've got to tell you, no, she's not. She really isn't. She makes Rihanna and Battleship look like an Oscar-worthy performance.
I love it. I love the take, man. I love it.
Anyways, skipping over her shit. She's like, yeah, should take guns. And then Aaron's like, we need those guns. And then what do? They take the fucking guns and she shoots her in the most anticlimactic grandma. Like, kind of, no joke, I laughed when she said grandma. I just was like, fuck you.
Grandma dies. Grandma got ran over by a fucking Enid.
No, she'll be grazed, and then she'll have a speech to the trash people like, I'd still be mad if you shot me.
It's just a flesh wound, David. It's just a flesh wound.
Yeah, you're gonna be dead any minute now. By the way, the shit with Aaron, I love the Ross Marquand. I think he's fantastic. I think he's a great actor. However, I think this shit with Eric has been completely rushed through. He's already into the acceptance stage of his grief.
It's been a day. It's been a day.
Not even. I don't even think it has been a day. He hasn't even taken a nap. And so he hopped in a car with one side covered in metal, and he went off with the most annoying girl in the world. And he's just going like this. I remember back in 1942, Eric and I used to have days like this. It's like you had days like this 2 days ago.
Remember
2 days ago.
Remember 2 days ago when it was good.
Yeah, no joke. It's like, remember last night? Of course I fucking do.
So there's just so much gaps of silence. It goes on forever. Aaron is a good actor, but he can't fight the Enid battle of horrible acting in this scene. This was a really bad scene. So she wants to stop. He asks why they stop. JSS check something out. They get out so they can go, and they show up and get some drinks. So they pick up Aaron gets out of the car. Oh yeah, there's this whole thing about Enid wanting to drive too, and that she's a better driver than Karl. Yeah, okay.
Fuck off.
And
get out of here.
And then we stop.
Get the fuck out. Come on. That's not even like, who wrote that in there? At least they're better than Karl. He doesn't even get the joke. He wasn't there, you dumb bitch.
Oh my fucking God.
He hasn't seen Karl drive. Karl hasn't seen Karl drive.
So they decide they can't show up to the party without a bottle of wine. So they pick up a big big truck of booze, and they go on. We don't see that till later. So then we're back in at Alexandria with Michonne and Judith, who we see Judith for the first time, and I had to go to Stephanie. Is that Judith? I guess. Yeah, it's Judith. She looks just like, and she's wearing a Punisher t-shirt. That's how I knew. And she's hanging out by the wall.
She's rubbing her head.
Yeah, she's going.
Can I ask you something, Dad? That should be the next meme. Fill the Issues Guy audience. Start making "Mask You Something, Dad."
He's walking through like with her head kicked sideways and shit.
He's going, Dad, I could really use a bottle right now.
Eric White.
My pants.
Great to see so many people in the live chat. Enid equals Beth 2.0, but he should have turned by now. There's also this thing about the switching of eyes. I'm missing part of it in the live chat, but there's something I guess about Judith's eye color changing or something like that. But
get out of here! Like that's the biggest problem.
And Richie, we all miss the Crow. Katie will definitely be flying back in, at least back for Game of Thrones season. We talked about it before. Katie, unfortunately, is working a lot more and studying, so she's not able to join us on the podcast as much. But she will definitely be back for Game of Thrones season and a couple of other shows along the way. So lots of love to Katie and to Joe, who's stuck at work, lucky enough to not talk.
Love you, Joe. Love you, Katie.
We love you both. So Daryl and Michonne talk, and Daryl is like, well, the plan worked. And she's like, I'm sorry I couldn't do it. I'm sorry I couldn't come. I'm sorry I chickened out. I'm sorry. Well, I don't care. It worked. And that's it about that one. So,
sorry, just really fast.
No,
I think they should have made him like Daryl. He should have been a lot more manic about that, like needing to reassure himself way more, because they clearly were going for that, but he should have played it more like, yeah, it worked. I mean, it worked. It really worked. It worked. Like he's going fucking nuts. Like he's about to just like become unraveled if somebody tells him, it really didn't work all that great, and then he's gonna go like, fuck, like it's just like go off the reservation. You know what I mean?
No, partially because it's a good point, David. Partially because he's not used to being a leader at all and have a plan and make people follow through with it. He's done it on small missions and stuff, but for the most part, he's always worked with a leader with a second that was more boisterous about being in control, whether it be Merle or Rick. Both of them are sort of in charge kind of guys, and it's a dictatorship or you're doing things Merle's way. So Daryl kind of is always a come with kind of guy, and this is one of the first times he's just said, fuck Rick, I'm going off on my own to do something. So it could have been a good moment for his character to show him get a little crazy with it, but instead he seems to be like well adjusted about it, like, oh yeah, I fucked. Did I do that? Yeah, I did that. I feel bad.
Did I do that?
He's doing the Urkel thing. Did I do that? So we go over to Karl in his room writing in his diary, and I guess this was where the flashback was, and maybe this was the scene, waiting and reading, writing dead letters to his father. What's going on in this scene? Was he writing I'm gonna die letters to his dad? Did Karl? Because I know now, because later in the episode is the reveal that he had already got bitten at this point, so he's writing his goodbye letters in this moment. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a...
Yeah, it checks.
Good call. Yeah, that checks out.
Checks out. Good reveal at the end, guys. Good job.
Yeah, but also, put that at the very end of the episode, too, instead of just going like, how far down the sewer pipe can this dolly go?
Oh, we're gonna go down the sewer pipes later. We're going down to subterranean Ninja Turtle layers going on here. We're gonna see Corey Feldman's Donatello coming out here in a moment.
Oh boy.
So Karl looks oh so sad, sweating, and he has a JSS letter for Enid as well. So we go over to Rosita and Tara. Rosita gives her the what the fuck look, and Tara's like, well, it worked. So okay. Rosita says, well, it worked, and I cannot understand for the fucking fuck of me, Rosita's character motivation this season. Sometimes she is...
she doesn't have any. That's why.
All over the fucking place. There's no consistency to her character at fucking all, David. And again, I don't want to use this as because I act to it, and I know that's the thing. But like, maybe it's direction, maybe it's something, because I think the actor is competent. Her character has no fucking consistency of anything.
Nope. This is a classic case of they wrote an episode, right? and Rosita wasn't in it. But then Rosita's agent steps in the room going, hey, listen, she needs to keep her SAG card because after this, she's not going to be working for a long time. And she has a baby and all that stuff. So can you give her some maternity leave money by just giving her like 4 lines in this episode? It doesn't really matter what they are. But if she could just say like something like, here's a box, that would be great.
And then, David, we get this stupid scene. And, I got to say good night to DJ, even though she loved this episode. Love you guys. Love you, DJ. Thank you so much for all the support this half of the season and joining us every week. Lots of love to you and have an amazing evening. So we get this weird sort of Timo in the live motherfucking chat with a super chat donation saying this recap is reminding me of how bad this episode actually was. Now I need a drink. Thanks, Phil and David. So I'm going to spin the
let's have a shot of wine.
Let's take a spin of the wheel for Timo for this. Thank you for the super chat donation. She gets 2 spins of the wheel, and we really do appreciate everyone that gives us support on.
I need the Google juice. I need the Google juice.
Is that really? It says 10 push-ups, so I need to do 10 push-ups at some point. So hold me off on that one, and let's give one more spin for Timo. So then we get this comedy scene.
Nope.
Between Rosita and Tara. That's comedy. where Rosita is the joke that Rosita was like, what was the joke here? She just keeps piling on shit on Tara, so she has to carry stuff, and Tara's carrying everything and has her, all the stuff, and it's funny. Wasn't it funny, David?
Oh yeah, she's just like, how about that heavy box? You know what? That's up there with Karl in that line.
Timo says change it to 10 shots. And Timo, your second one was review.
Yeah, what does that say? Does that say review Conway Cash or we come? What does that say?
Tim Conway. I come with Tim Conway from Cheers. I mean, from Taxi. And Babylon 5. Timo, that one landed on review commentary cast of your choice. So please message me privately. Anything you want me to review. And yes, it can be Black Sails. Anything you want me to review, let me know and send me a private message. And I will change your your push-ups to finish my drink instead, because I know you always long for the drink rather than silly push-ups. So yeah, I see something about Babylon 5 coming. What's going on? So David, again, this scene was played for fucking comedy, and I wasn't laughing.
No, I don't believe you should be laughing in a show where every other episode someone's like, my boyfriend's dead. I don't think that it should be like, remember the joke about the guns?
And yeah, I'm sorry. This is what I mean when I say that this show doesn't know what kind of show it wants to be.
And click. You're right, Chalk Boy, Dick Van Dyke. I don't know what that comment was in relation to, but just feel like saying it. Another thing, did Rosita forget that she was shot?
Maybe that was the joke. That's why she couldn't carry anything. But it seemed like after every pile up, we wanted to get one of these. Oh no, not that. Not that. That was the wrong thing. I wanted to hit a drum beat or one of these or something. Like we needed the sitcom laughter or the drum fill, dun dun or some shit like that.
Now you know what would have made that fast. Or sorry, not fast.
You know what to make that fast.
You know what to make that fast.
Yeah, let's get that done, David. Let's get that shit done.
You're good. But you know what would have made that funny is if some character in the background just like looked at Tara and said, "You're retarded." Like after she got all the boxes, like and said like, "How about that heavy one?" Like Daryl just goes, "Yeah, you're retarded." And then, like, I would have laughed my ass off because I love it when characters acknowledge another character for being stupid or for doing something dumb or calling them out on their shit. That like Abraham calling Eugene out, punching the fuck out of his face and knocking him out. I thought that was an amazing moment. But I'm not a scientist, there needs to be more of those.
Yeah, and sorry, David. Chalk Boy, yes. Jeff Conway was amazing. He was the best acting of his life was on Celebrity Rehab. was crazy. So anyway,
he acted like he was getting better.
Yeah, no. He was like stuck in a wheelchair and screaming and like cursing and like abusing everybody. It was pretty fucking like beating the shit out of Dr. Drew. It was pretty hilarious. So they head towards Oceanside and Enid gets out of the car. David kind of already talked about this. We get out of the car and Aaron's bringing in a distillery booze truck, bringing in wine and booze. Aaron is in the dark waiting to hear something. It's almost tense in this moment as Aaron comes out and then Enid's there, who takes me out of the moment, and gets blocked by a tree and some weird shit happens. And then suddenly Enid's coming around a corner and shoots Grandma. And as David mentioned earlier, we get the wonderful line, "You shot Grandma." And then the music kicks in and we hear this.
You shot Grandma.
Oh yeah, you shot Grandma. Grandma got run over by Enid.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same shit, dude.
Yeah, it was totally. I don't want to go too far with that. Less is more with that song, but it's
you killed Granny.
You bastards! You
bastard!
I expected Stan and Kyle to show up and go, "You bastards! You killed Granny, you bastards!
You killed my step grandma."
You fucking addicted to love. Yeah, Robert Palmer's addicted to love Negan girls. Love how gas is infinite for all these big trucks during the apocalypse. Almost to the point where we have a moment in this episode later where Ezekiel just comes upon a giant gas bin that he's just spilling everywhere and burning it up and shit. Curious and Unusual Deaths on Netflix is a good series. I watched it. Awesome Hannibal. I'm actually looking for some new Netflix stuff, so I appreciate that. And Grandma got laid out by a 12. Grandma got laid out by a 12. So we go over to Karl and Michonne, who have a scene of talking about being important. So let's listen to that.
I've been looking for you. About ready to head out. What are you doing?
TMO, for you.
I'm helping someone. Traveler.
In the sewer.
You may be wondering why the hell your lookouts didn't sound the alarm. See, we are polite.
They are polite, you guys. Clearly. You might be wondering how I got a microphone in the fucking apocalypse.
But I come. So we go.
What's the deal with airplanes?
What's the deal with airplane food? It's
yeah, I don't get it. It's gross.
It's disgusting.
They're always out of the good food when they get to you. Have you ever have that problem?
Why do they call them apartments when they're all close together? I don't know. So we go over to so Negan shows up and it's time for Hickory Dickory Dock. Negan sucks your cock.
You may be wondering why the hell your lookouts didn't sound the alarm. See, we are polite. I mean, I don't know when they're going to wake up from that kind of shock, but they should wake up. So let's just cut through the cow shit.
And then all the characters scatter because some plot has come to them. And they're like, oh shit, we got to do stuff. Fuck, what are we going to do now? Oh fuck, we got to do stuff. Ah, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. And they run around. We have 3 minutes till we start bombing you because the saviors have a bunch of grenade bomb type stuff. Excuse me. Karl heads towards the sewers and calls Michonne to come with him. So then we get Rick and Carol. Excuse me. Timo, your super chat donation is making me feel, whoa. So going right to my head. So you may get drunk silliness in a moment here. So we go to Rick and Carol and Jerry in the car. And we get a car crash of some kind. I talked about this earlier, how I thought they built up the tension in this moment really well, and then they didn't really pay it off. I think car accidents are an easy thing to go to in television series. The Sopranos alone did it like 4 or 5 times where they have Tony get into car accidents or something like that. They can come out of nowhere and really shock you on a television show where in a way that something else can't, which is a quick bam and it's done. And I thought they actually did really really good. I was not expecting this to happen in this moment. And no, it wasn't a walker. It wasn't a scary moment. It wasn't a death. But this was the moment that got me out of my seat for a moment where I was sitting there watching going, whoa! Like, so congratulations for creating tension and not paying it off. So Dave says these recap. Oh, thank you, Dave. You're fucking amazing. Eric says Negan thinks he's Jigsaw when he doesn't kill anybody, but their actions get people killed. Very fucking true.
I think the episode, honestly, there's like a 2-minute moment in the episode that kind of sums up this entire season, maybe even the last couple of seasons, is Karl's standing up there, makes a bold stand. Negan's like, whoa, you're making a bold stand. Like, you know, but
someone put their big boy pants on.
You got your shitting pants on. So I will say that shitting pants line has grown on me, but
it is a pretty funny line.
Just it's funny. It's funny when you say it in real life to people, like, hope you got your shitting pants. Like, it's funny. But anyways, it's the scene where Karl has this good speech, like, is this really what you wanted? Is this how you wanted to be? Negan's stepping closer. He's not saying anything. It's just an intense look on his face, you know, acting. And they are having this moment. And then, I don't know, Karl teleports. That's what it looked like to me. He just teleports or slides down a slide. And then Negan goes, God damn it. You know, I thought we were having a moment, you little asshole.
We're playing shoots and ladders here, and you just slid down the fucking chute. What the fuck? We're playing a game of shoots and ladders, David. What you doing, you motherfucker? Stop going down the chute when you fucking run up the ladder.
He went down the chute.
He did. He went down the chute. Lots of love to Mandela. I will pitch in to see Drunk Phil. I think we need it after tonight. Sad face. Lots of love to you for all the fucking support, sharing us on Twitter and sharing us everyone. If everyone, a couple people sent me messages wishing we were bigger, wishing more people watch. If you want to help the channel grow, please share the channel as people like Mandela does that. Tell other people about it. Get more people to find us. We really do appreciate it, especially now with the way YouTube is. We really do appreciate anyone who helps promote us and push us out there. So let's spin the wheel for David. David, I'm gonna get you.
That shoots and ladder shit, dude. That just it keeps playing in my head. It's so funny. But that sums up the show, though. I'm just saying, you have a moment, and then it's immediately broken by no reason. There is no reason, and then a character goes, "Wait, did you just break the moment?" Like Negan,
have a good night, 1998. I'm sorry.
Like Negan, breaks the fourth wall and kind of goes like, "Hey, what the fuck? I thought we were having a moment here." I'm like, was that like a moment of self-awareness for the writers? Like, all right, we're gonna have a really nice scene and then fuck it up. But Negan's gonna say, hey, you fucked up that really nice moment.
Maybe that's the point, that they just want him to ruin every scene or something, or not ruin every scene, break up every scene. I do have to say that Mandel, you landed on everyone drink. So if you're out there watching us right now and you have access to alcohol or coffee or even some fucking crazy sugar drink or your tea or coffee, wherever you're at right now, everybody toast for this super chat donation. Thank you so much for this donation. Thank you so much to everyone that's joined us for this half of The Walking Dead season. Even when The Walking Dead isn't at its greatest, it means so much to be able to come out here every Sunday night and babble to you guys about the episode and about all the other shows that we do. So please, huge thanks to you guys as we're nearing the end of the year. Toast to everybody. Lots of love to everybody out there. Time to drink.
I don't have a drink, but I have this roll of tape.
Oh, fuck. Nick is drinking some fucking serious Aquafina out there. Nick Diaz is getting drunk off the fucking Aquafina vibes going on right now. So we come back in with Ezekiel, who's still whining and looking at the letter but again, it's only been a half an hour, so he's not really hanging out there a long time. It's been about 20 minutes, and Ezekiel is sad, but he hears a commotion outside, and he quickly hides from a strike force of saviors. Then we get Maggie and Jesus asking if what's going to go on, and if the saviors will surrender. Maggie says no, not right away, because I wouldn't give up that quick. Then some dude in the back that is the guy that dies. This guy.
Eventually.
Let's listen to this.
Not now.
Will we give up that quick?
No, we wouldn't. Damn straight.
There he is. That's the guy that dies. He made you love him. That was the emotional moment that they built because he says the damn straight line, and everyone's going to be talking about that damn straight line. We're going to kill that guy for an emotional weight moment a few seconds later. Congratulations.
Standing ovation, everybody.
That is a
performance of the year. Give that guy the Independent Spirit Award.
That is a wrap for the damn right guy, everybody. That's a wrap for the damn right guy.
Guys, we're out of squib, so we're gonna have to do this one off camera, okay?
That being said, I love the line delivery on it, but I don't like that they killed him in one episode. Like, leave this character in, make me get to know this character. You create damn right guy, and then you fucking kill him. Go fuck yourself.
Killed the dude who was planting blueberry bushes with Maggie, like in season 7 or whatever, when she was still wearing like Glenn's hat and Abraham's gloves. I just saw that episode on TV earlier. I'm like, kill that dude, because we've at least seen him a few times. He has a little like top knot, and he's like a handsome Puerto Rican dude or whatever. It's like, kill that guy, kill the good looking dude, because then people will be upset at least because he's handsome. And they'll be like, oh, that sucks. There's not that many handsome people left. Like,
Hillbilly Hilltop 38 wins performance of the night for Timo. Dave DeRosa says, and now that Karl is dead, Rick is basically immune to everything. Who else could really lead the show that would actually care about besides Rick? Maybe Daryl, but not even Daryl. Rick is going to stay alive. Andrew Lincoln is going to stay alive till The Walking Dead goes off the air. When he decides to leave the show, that's when The Walking Dead goes off the air. So it's all about how long Andrew Lincoln wants to do this. I don't see this show surviving past him. I mean, I see the Walking Dead universe surviving past him, but Walking Dead show proper, I don't see surviving past the point where Andrew Lincoln. I think that
I really would stop watching, like genuinely. Like, I watch because of him. Like, I like the other characters and stuff. Maybe I would watch a couple episodes to see the other characters and how they grieve and how they wrap the show up without him. Like, have an episode where it's like, here's the honoring of Rick Grimes, but I really wouldn't continue watching, honestly, if he died. And I know that sucks because that kind of means like, well, then you're always going to know what's going to happen next because he's always going to be okay. It's like, shit can still go wrong.
I don't have that scene right now, Walking Matt, but can you play the scene where Rick tells Karl, Mom's going to die, I'm going to die, we're all going to die? Yeah, that was a great scene. That was back in that was
season 2.
See, was that season 2? That was some good stuff.
One that everybody hated.
Johnny Rico says it's not really confirmed Karl is dead. Just watch them find a way to keep him alive. That's what I'm saying, Johnny. Leanna Finn, $20 super chat donation. 2 fucking spins of the wheel. Lots of love to Leanna. Thank you again so much for all those super chat donations. You guys keep us going and keep me being able to rationalize to the powers that be to keep doing this show. Thank you. You landed on everyone drink. So one more time, everyone toast your drink to Leanna for a big fucking sip. Lots of love getting drunk off that Aquafina, but no getting drunk off the Tank 7 for me. And one more spin of the wheel for Leanna for that $20 super chat donation. Thank you so much. Fucking amazing. And that landed on Phil drink. So give me a second and I will drink again. So then we give Maggie giving some sort of speech about choice, and she says slow down, and there's a tree in the way on the road that wasn't there before. She has some spider sense, and we see Maggie causing a walkie-talkie to turn around to the car behind, but it's too late as a savior truck comes up them and drives past them and blocks the road in front of them, and then blocks them in the back and starts getting out of the car and approaching the truck. Simon comes out and says, hickory dickory dock, time for Maggie to eat my cock. He comes out and he's happy and shit's bad. So then we get Karl. The next scene is Karl leading the way and telling everyone to go. We get Karl as a leader. All the people are freaking out. I must admit that as much as I'm not the biggest fan of Chandler Riggs, I thought he did a decent enough job in this scene, kind of carrying like Karl go. If you look back and you think about the whole episode and think about the end of it where he ends up being bit and he was bit this whole time and kind of pushing himself.
Do you know why, though? Do you know why that is? Is because what we were talking about earlier, what I mentioned before, is it had intensity. The character was intense. He goes, this is my plan, and we're doing it. And you're doing it. You know what I mean? That's what you need. You need people to go, like, that's what Rick does, and that's the whole point, is that it's the Rick-tatorship kind of speech. It's like, hey, there's a door. Why don't you go and see how far you get? You know, like that kind of shit. That's what it was. It was him just kind of going like, "You're gonna do it. This is my show. Listen to fucking me." You know, like that's.
We got a text message from area code 816. They show another character on one of those close-ups. I'm gonna fucking flip out. Yeah, we'll get to that at the end of the episode again.
What about the coffin? What if they did like a close-up of the dead guy,
or just the coffin? Like not even
just the coffin, like but only one of the eyeballs is in focus. Gotta love that filmmaking technique.
Yes, and unfortunately, yes, Joe would be going crazy right now. Excuse me. And so unfortunately, we're not gonna have Joe, but Joe will be back in the back half of this episodes of The Walking Dead. We need to give Joe's heart a break tonight. Joe's heart grew 10 steps. And also, I did want to mention as well, we've got a couple of text messages that we'll get to at the end. But if anyone wants to leave a voicemail, the phone lines are open at 781-990-8509. David and I will get to those at the end of the Walking Dead recap if you guys want to do that. Holy fucking shit. Penny Lane with a $50 Canadian
it's in my ear. It's in my eye.
So, but hopefully if Joe, I don't think Joe got a chance to watch tonight, because if he did, he probably would have called in much earlier. So unfortunately, we don't have Joe. But Penny Lane, you get a bunch of fucking spins. Fucking A. Yeah, Joe would have exploded after tonight. We're almost benefit to not have Joe tonight. He would have lost it. A bite of a sandwich, Penny Lane. I can take you up on that. Let's do a few more spins for Penny Lane for that super chat donation. So we see Karl leading the way, telling everyone where to go, and all the people are freaking out. Negan is here. We hear the whistle as Karl's leading it, and Michonne says we need to go, and Karl has a plan. He says, do it. So we go out to the Saviors, and we hear music playing, and Gavin is giving a speech. Oh, this is at the Kingdom. Gavin gives a fucking speech, and this is where we get into Speechgate here, where we get into like 15 different speeches with characters that it just gets excessive here. Let's listen to one of Gavin's speeches.
You folks wanted to order off the menu, and look at that! Now you have to eat shit. God knows I didn't want to be the one serving it up.
It could have been a good story.
And to me, David, Gavin, who almost got most of the attention, or besides Negan, like got more scenes than Negan and Simon, he's the least interesting of the three sub bosses of Negan. I just don't find this guy interesting at all.
God damn it. Like,
sorry, I'm taking my bite of a sandwich. I was trying to set you up.
No, go for your bite of your sandwich.
No, but there's not much. That's the thing. It almost stresses me out before doing these recaps, because I have a lack of things to talk about, because it's just repeating the same things, because it's hard to talk about what's going on the show, not instead of how the show's being put together. I'd love to be able to focus right now on what this all means, what Rick's group goes, what do we do next from this point on? And we'll talk about that a little bit at the end. But it's tough when it's just very few scenes in this episode worked for me.
Here's the thing. It's like, listen, if you haven't done a good job of establishing characters and what they think and how conflicted they are, then nobody cares about their speeches. Okay? If we had never seen King Ezekiel before, that's why King Ezekiel at the very start, when he first showed up, everybody's like, oh, fuck this guy, because he was so over the top. But then when you see him break character and talk to Karl like a human being, and he goes like, you know, my name's really Ezekiel, though, but I just put on this act because people saw me with a tiger and blah, blah, blah. He becomes more interesting, and you can see that there's other sides to him at work. But Gavin, it's like, okay, he didn't like that a young kid died last season.
He's a good guy, as someone said in the live chat. Gavin's the good one.
No, but where do you get that from? Because he goes, I didn't want to have to serve you guys shit, but I'm going to do it. You know, like it's, oh, fuck me. You know, I don't even know what to say. I didn't care. I just didn't care. It was a speech. And by the way, why was he talking into a megaphone at 1 second and then a little thing the next second? Did he break his megaphone? And I
didn't even think about that. That's fucking funny. That's good.
That I noticed that immediately. I just go like, he just goes, Lord knows I didn't want to be the one serving it up. And he kind of turns away to read his line and then comes back and he goes, yeah, like I was saying. I'm like, hey, get back here, you dick. Like, who's the continuity person in this? Where's the script supervisor?
Actually felt bad for Jared killing Bill last season. Tobin made it. King Ezekiel can die since he's not talking funny. He's just doing stupid smiling shit. So to go to the live chat at this moment during the episode, as if you guys are ever watching the episodes live, you can always get into our video early as the event will always be created. And there's usually a few folks watching the episode live and commenting on it. So jump on in. We had Chalk Boy, Timo, Ren Renwood, the lovely Ren Renwood, Timo, Corey Mitchell, the lovely Corey Mitchell. It's Corey says, if it's a bad thing that I'm rooting for everyone to kill everyone on the show at this point. Ren says the same thing over and over again. Timo says 30 minutes in and the plot has not gone forward. Corey Mitchell says, and Negan is over here hosting a quiz show. I'm going to kill the person with the worst apology. Now it's time for a lightning round. And Timo said the entire episode will be all the same bullshit except for whatever happens at the end, which is the almighty big moment they promised. Corey says, when the savior is ugh, everything you have is ours, ugh. And we're just going to whistle and ramble for 45 minutes because we absolutely suck. So our next scene is we go back in on Maggie and Simon, who I like Simon. And that's all I'll say. I like Simon.
Everyone needs to hand over their guns.
Welcome to Where You're Going.
Gary, shoot that beautiful bastard if anyone tries anything. Same goes for everyone in the cars.
And I don't know if I like Simon just because of Grand Theft Auto or whatever, but Simon, I like the actor. I think he puts a lot in. Stephen Ogg, I believe is his name. He puts a lot into it, and I'm always happy for voice actors that can kind of bridge that gap into real acting. And I in a weird way, even though I have no real allegiance or anything to him, I'm happy for him to have some successes. So good for Stephen Ogg and eating up every piece of scenery that he has in front of him and doing a great job doing it. So I have nothing bad to say about Simon. So
I think the only thing I would have changed is I would have kept everything the same. And I would have killed that girl who fired arrows for the
saviors, the tattoo girl.
No, yeah, I would have killed her too. But I mean
have a good night,
the other blonde with the hair, the other person in the car.
Yeah,
next to the guy who got killed. Kill her because she's at least had more screen time and played a part in this war. And if he just killed her willy-nilly, because they even show a close-up of her face, and I'm thinking, oh, she's gonna get like dragged out or shot or something. They didn't do it. Go ahead.
So then we go over to Negan, who is getting his paycheck for some rants.
See, I was willing to work with you.
Diane. Everyone in the live chat says the character's name is Diane. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to D and Cattigat. And thank you to Chalk Boy for jumping on in here. And by the way, you landed on to Penny Lane for our $50 donation. Landed on shot. I don't have any shots right now, but I will take a big giant sip of the alcohol. And you have one more spin to go for your super chat donation. And again, thank you to everyone that has donated tonight to get me shit-faced and to keep the show going. You guys are fucking amazing. So amazing. I cannot say it enough.
I have a nickname for the guy. Everybody keeps saying Hillbilly Hilltop. It's Hillbilly. No, it's ZZ Hilltop.
I was willing to work with you. All you had to do was follow a few very simple rules. But now I see that you've got to go. Scorched earth, you dick!
That's a sorry. That was fucking great.
For a motherfucker.
Scorched earth, you dick. I love it. I'm sorry. I know I've hated a lot on Negan, but he was Jeffrey D. Morgan was eating up scenery, and I've said this the second time I've said this tonight, eating up scenery in the best possible way in this episode for me. He was the highlight of this episode for me.
Oh, holy shit! Everybody hold your fire in the car.
That was pause it right there. That was fucking hilarious, by the way. That part threw me into a tizzy when he just goes, hold your fire, It's Karl. Like,
yeah, hold your fire, Karl. Wait a second. Karl's here, everybody.
That is for everybody who hates Karl. That should be your fucking ringtone. Because, whoa, hold your fire. It's Karl.
It's Karl.
It's Karl.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit like I've talked about this with Joe a little bit. Television Stockholm syndrome, that you get used to people that you didn't necessarily like because honestly, even though people may disagree with this that watch our channel, I want to like something. That's my goal. I'm looking for reasons to like it. And I get used to Jeffrey D. Morgan, and he's a highlight of this season for me. He's one of the high points. Atari Dad says, I love how AMC is implementing the one F-bomb per rule for their series. Did the same thing with Hitler in Preacher. I was just hoping Negan would say fuck you, says Cattigat. Ironthroat says, I like Karl, like my friends. So we go over to Negan, who's getting his paycheck. We go to Karl, says hold his fire, and Karl's got his big boy pants on. So let's listen to a little bit more of this.
Look at you, answering the door like a big boy. I am so proud. Daddy's not home, huh? Well, I guess he's gonna get back to a big old smoky.
This whole situation, though, was
his family's in here.
Some of the better part of the episode. So Karl talks back to him, and he goes, "Let's just listen to a little bit of this while I take a drink."
Kids, my little sister.
That shit just breaks my heart. There's kids at the sanctuary. You must have seen them. Even had a little baby at one of the outposts. I wonder what happened to her. None of this shit's fair, kid.
We ate her.
It's that long fucking pause. So I can't even do it. So Karl says, let me stop this war. I didn't cut this up enough. Let me go to 18.
There has to be punishment, then kill me. I'm serious.
You want to die?
No, I don't. But I will. It's gonna happen.
Karl. Okay. So again, I guess this makes this a little bit better when you know the end of the episode. This episode definitely, it's not a crazy, amazing mid-season finale, but some aspects of the Karl storyline in this episode become better when you see the finale of the episode. I just don't think they, especially with what ultimately ends up happening, excuse me, if it had been big death, like Karl actually dies or Daryl dies, I could almost rationalize the whole, it's going to be the big moment everyone's talking about. But this moment with it just being that Karl is bit, I don't see the point of hyping it up. I think it would have been more effective. And I know I'm repeating myself and going over the same thing I said last week and repeating again. But I think the problem with The Walking Dead isn't in the substance that they have. It's sometimes how it's being presented. A lot in the editing. And I know people love the person that does the music of the show, and it's not a slight against the music itself. The choice of music for the scenes and in general, the way the show is marketed has a negative effect on the product. Mm-hmm. And by coming out there and being like, there's a big thing that you're going to be talking about, it keeps your antennas up, and it tried to get more people to tune in because the ratings have suffered. And then in this moment, what you decide to do is to reveal that Karl is bit. That's cool and great, and that would have been honestly a decent end to the mid-season finale if we didn't fucking know it was fucking coming. What you did was you deballed the situation. David talked about this a lot earlier, about how The Walking Dead has lost its balls by you're preparing people. It's like giving people a participation trophy. It's protecting them. A video game that gives you endless lives and you can't die in it, and you're just like playing a Lego game and there's no stakes. It's The Walking Dead has to warn you that something bad's gonna happen because they don't want to make you feel fucking bad. What the flying fuck kind of show are we watching here, David? It should make you feel bad. That's the point of The Walking Dead, to fucking make you feel like everything's all right and then punch you in the fucking nuts, not prepare you for the punch in the nuts. Sorry for the rant, but it's just fucking bothering me.
It's appropriate because of the fact that I agree. I think that this the gore was really, really toned down. I honestly, I think if the bite had also just even looked worse, it would have made it more impactful too, to where I was like, oh wow, he's been walking around with that. You know, like it didn't look like jelly on his stomach. But fuck, what was I gonna say? Shit, I completely lost my train of thought. But we were talking about Karl. What were you literally just saying? Holy crap! I completely had like a mental reset. Like I just etch a sketched my brain.
Phil, Tari, just to jump into the chat for a second, to catch that. Phil lives in video games were always pointless. They were only meant to get people to sink coins in their arcade games. That's why there aren't modern games. D says the best nut punches come without warning. Exactly. Ren, lots of love to Ren. They need to go to Game of Thrones with death. Atari Dead says, yes, good point. But I was entertained. So Karl says, let's stop this war. And if you think of your point at any point in time, just let me know.
I got it now. What I was going to say is, along what you were saying with the marketing, the fan base and this, like the spoiling dead or whatever they are, like people really do need to stop with spoilers, because I heard about stuff like this for weeks.
Me too. So me too. I read that in the same group, and the same group that I kind of knew this was coming.
Comment. I mean, people saying next week. Same thing happened with Shiva. I didn't even feel it because I knew it was coming, and just like they're saying, like wait till the last 30 seconds of the episode, and you're gonna feel really sad. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? And you are encouraging people to be the first to say something that you shouldn't do. And they put the clips up immediately after the clip airs. Like literally as it's airing, they're cutting it and then putting it on the AMC thing, to where people on the West Coast are getting spoiled about things that the people on the East Coast already fucking saw. And it's not fair to people. And you're allowing your fans to go too far into fan theorydom, like where they're just every single time, like every single character has a theory of the old man Karl thing. Here's some artwork of it. Here's this and this and this. It's like, and you're trying to almost be the antithesis of fan theory. So instead of doing him getting shot, instead of it being surprised, you just went the dumbest, cheapest, easiest route, and the one that has the least amount of heart. And at least to me, it felt like it had the least amount of heart.
No, I agree with you 100%. Great point. Great rant. So Timo says this is so fucking soap opera at this point in time. Karl is channeling the fans right now. Yeah, I kind of wanting someone to die. I'm tired of the speeches. So we go over to Dwight and Savior number 4 over a fake barricade to come by, and this sets up the Dwight is fucking over the Saviors here and officially joining our group. So then we go over to Negan, who is like, you guys are just a bunch of fucking assholes, and bombs away and starts lighting up Alexandria with grenade launchers. So Corey Mitchell at this point said, Karl, come back. I love you. Don't board the fight. Iron Throne said, watch it the same way I watch Inhumans. I just watch this for the LOLs. I enjoy it much more. And we talk about Simon being so likable. A couple of people said here. So we come back in, and Karl is jumping down a ladder and heading down the chutes and ladders as the music gets intense. And we see some more grenades. Karl is limping because a couple of times that we set up this moment here that if anyone's ever watched me play Zelda, we have a moment where Karl blows himself up. He's the clumsy hero, and he's walking around and he literally blows himself the fuck up. So we go to Gavin, who wants Ezekiel, and he got to find the goon with the dreads. And we see some more shit and some more fucking crap happens. So then Simon says, I want to go to the kingdom. Alexandra's fucked too. We go more to Simon and Maggie. And then we find out that Eugene... Simon talks a little bit about Eugene. I don't even want to talk about this shit. And... then we get Simon killing the random dude that talks shit in the background. We already kind of talked about a lot of this. So then we get Maggie, who is, I guess, negotiating with Simon. And she says she wants to take the coffin so she can bury the random guy number 3 that died. And I don't know. I just don't care. So... so then we get our commercial break where we get the machete thing and we see Claimer Joe, and it is literally the worst fucking one of these machete things yet. It is so fucking stupid. It's
the
like
makeup effects, by the way, it looks like she's wearing a bulletproof vest made of ribs. Like just
dude,
the person, it's literally sticking out like this, dude. It's like
sorry, the camera's not on you. Wait.
The machete is like here, but the back part is like 3 inches lower, so it's not like the same blade. You know what I mean? It's like the different make. And she's just like walking around. Oh god, it was so.
But the highlight of the part was we get Claimer Joe coming back into it, which was really kind of neat. So
that guy has a hell of a head of hair, I'll say that.
Oh, I love that guy. So we come back in, and it's Groundhog's Day. As we come back in and we see the clock turn to 12 a.m. or p.m. I don't know what it was. And it's fucking Groundhog's Day for Eugene. As Eugene, I mean Negan, I mean Eugene. It's the morning, and he's drinking like first thing in the morning or right before bed. I don't know what he's drinking. But either way, it's fucked up. And as Corey Mitchell says, hello, my name is Eugene Gump. I like tinkering and voyeurism. So
all acts of Judaisness and backstabbery.
And Joe punched her in the face and says, "Claim motherfucker." It was really good. So he drinks and goes back to the bed and has a freak out or an anxiety attack. So then we go to Karl, who has fog and smoke with him with his mouth wide open, and he's leading the way, hurting a bit because he blew himself up, but he's still going. And he finds that hat. He's like Indiana Jones with that fucking hat. He finds a house, and the music comes up again, and the music just doesn't fit the scene, but whatever. The house ends up blowing up, and he stops, and we see this burning cloud in the distance that feels like the burning my burning ass. And someone asks if this is the Punisher symbol. This is the moment where we see Karl seeing some vision of fire flying. We see a phoenix, or I don't know what the fuck we see. So then we go over to Tara, who is talking about doing things right or wrong. I don't know what's going on there. And then we see the Saviors, and Dwight's leading the Saviors into a trap, which eventually get ambushed and shot. And we see Saviors dying, but Dwight is standing up and sets up all of his friends for death. His friend shoots him in the arm instead of shooting him, and decides to talk shit to him. What the fuck was going on here? Once the Savior, the tattooed girl, finds out that Dwight is a double agent, why doesn't she kill him? Why does she shoot him in the fucking arm? What the hell was going on there, David? I know there's no answer, but...
Well, Lucille got in the way. So...
It's true.
Yeah, Lucille caught the bullet. It's... I don't know if you noticed, Phil, it's actually genius that she shot him in the arm, because the bullet went into his gun's barrel and came out into his arm. And that happens sometimes.
It's a magic bullet. It did a U-turn. It went boop, right.
And and you know what? I can't wait for the new Rockstars callback video about this episode because
it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be Eric Voss is gonna give the worst review of this episode. You can count on it. He's like, I think that the symbolism behind this character dying means that they're dying. Like, he is the worst reviewer ever. He makes Chris Hardwick look like fucking amazing, dude. Like, he is so stupid. He is the most effeminate, like, bullshit, like, pseudo-intellectual I've ever fucking seen. Go and dislike any new Rockstars videos, please. Any of them, he's like, I'm Eric Voss, and
David,
blue background.
David making takes all over the place. Oh my goodness.
Oh, if I ever see that guy, I'm just gonna be like, you suck. Like, you are fucking terrible. Like, it's I just took it down a notch. My chair. People who saw that. But anyways,
the opinions of The Walking David are only those of The Walking Dead.
Shut up. No, you have to play the sad music.
No, I know. I should have played the sad music right there. I should be good. I can't wait to see him review one of your movies.
Oh, dude, I hope he does.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that was the wrong music.
I will. Oh, really fast. The part where Karl blowed himself up. That's where I thought, to make it look really cool, he should have, like, part of that bandage should have been burned off, and he should have had, like, a little bit of blood, like, burn on his face. Because why not? Why the fuck not? Why not?
Dude, did he just, like, walk off that blow up? Was he Wolverine or some shit?
Yeah, he's completely fine. And also, I thought instead of a bite, it was going to be shrapnel.
Or something.
Because that would have been interesting, because he was walking around like, and I was thinking it's going to pan down and you're going to see, like, you know, like your side mirror from a car, like in his stomach, like, you know, and, but nope, perfectly fine. His shirt is perfectly fine.
So let's go to our next scene, which is the truck pulling up and some more Mr. Negan fun. Let me skip through a bunch of bullshit and let's listen to a little bit more Negan because he's always talking.
That convoy, they got away, huh? All of them? Kids still gotta be here. I think you want to go down with the ship. Search the place. Find them, tie them up. Don't kill them. Blow up every other house. I'm gonna go to Rick's, make a little spaghetti. When he shows up, send him my way.
So they have a ton of fucking explosives, and they just start laying waste to all the houses in Alexandria. An endless supply of explosives. The ammo situation, I must admit, I am a little bit confused by where everyone gets all these explosives, how conveniently at some points in time the ammo situation is more of a problem than it isn't at other times. But I guess I'm just going to shut off my brain to it and just go, I don't give a shit. Like, I wish almost from a video game standpoint, like a Scott Pilgrim sort of way. The Price is Right fail. I just want them to say everyone has endless bullets. Like, have the great Kazoo from the Flintstones come out and talk to the camera and go, everyone has endless bullets in this world. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start. Means.
You got to do the Dukes of Hazzard where it freeze frames and the cowboy just walks in from the left side and goes, can you believe that these guys got themselves into this predicament?
Oh, it's Gazoo. Thank you, everybody. Gazoo.
Hey, Phil, they got mods. Bum, 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 bum.
Wait. I have that somewhere. Wait. Where's the drum fill sort of situation? See, now I have to look for something while I'm drunk. I'm never gonna find it. It's awful. I'll play this instead. So our next scene is Karl's out there and he blows himself off again. He He ends up getting lined up with a bunch of Negan's guys, kind of spot him, and they have like a good shot on him, but he throws down some smoke grenades, and as we all know, smoke is the enemy of the bullet. So these guys don't fire. These guys don't fire a shot at him. They see this smoke and they're like, "Oh fuck, smoke!"
Just the way you phrase that, smoke is the enemy of the bullet.
Smoke is absolutely the enemy of the bullet, David. Don't relent here, man. It's fucking incredible. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find like a sound cue. You can always tell when I'm trying to find sound cue because I'm like, don't relent. I don't want to play porn music. What the fuck are you talking about?
You gotta take that one off. You keep playing the porn one by accident.
Whoa, what's going on here? Oh shit. Oh fuck. Was that the concept?
It was I like to call that moment, Phil, the Batman v Superman moment, where it's like Superman catches that thing and it goes poof, and just like shoots kryptonite powder on his face. That's pretty much what Karl did. He pretty much just like, here's a gas can. He even shakes it like this. It kind of goes.
And what the fuck? And Karl is out there and he blows himself out to get away from two guys in the sewer. He jumps in the sewer to hang out with the ninja fucking turtles. So we get back in and Eugene Gump is there, as Corey Mitchell says. Eugene decides to finally help Gabriel. So let's listen to a little bit of whatever Eugene says.
Your wishes, regardless of their foolhardiness. However, on a personal note, it's my sincere opinion that venturing from the confines of this infirmary will be a fatal mistake. The doctor is more than capable of returning on his own. You, on the other hand, will likely succumb to illness or bodily rending en route. But I know that that's the stratagem you're choosing, and it's a dirty game.
Why don't you please tell me what the hell is going on?
Gabriel believes he's on a mission from God to return to the hilltop to tend to the birth of Maggie and Glenn's child.
He can't go anywhere.
That is a conversation the two of you need to have Sato solo.
What the
Here to inform you that the guard at the north side gate is not supposed to say what you choose to do or not do with that knowledge is none of my beeswax or card stacks.
You killed
my God.
No.
Stop doing it! Stop doing it!
He's currently
Stop doing it.
with laxative and melted sugar creek.
So we have Eugene in a comedy section. Thank you, everyone, the super chat donators. You've officially made me drunk as we so we have Eugene's comedy hour on HBO as Gabriel escape. It's going to help Gabriel and the doctor escape. And they're going to all play shoots and ladders. So Eugene wants to sleep tonight, and that's why he's fucking doing it. Because that's why he's fucking doing it. He cares. He fucking cares. So we go to Ezekiel, who finds a bunch of fucking gas, and he's going to start the biggest fire the North's ever seen. And so he starts a fucking explosion. And Gavin's like, what the fuck's going on over there? And Ezekiel drives in with a fucking school bus like it's bachelor party and crashes through some fucking shit. Goes, everybody, get the fuck in. So then Carol matriculates out of fucking nowhere and she shows up and she's like, where's Ezekiel? And Ezekiel is like, listen, Carol, you go and save the people and inspire them like you inspire them like fucking Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween. You fucking inspire those fucks, Carol. And Ezekiel locks the doors behind him to get his little beating that he thinks he deserves.
Oh my God, you made me laugh so hard. Fuck it, I'm sweating. Oh my God.
So that's that whole section. Do you have any thoughts about any of that? I'm sorry, Dave.
I think that speech, just in general, The Gavin stuff, yeah, like we were saying before, I just don't really care. It's very ineffectual as far as pulling on my heartstrings. And I hate the stupid I used to like you, Ezekiel. I used to like you back. Remember last week with the mangoes? We had a good thing going with those mangoes.
That's part of the problem. They never built up enough. They did it in passing that Ezekiel had a working relationship with the Saviors, but they didn't do it the right way. So I never really felt like he had a relationship with these people. Part of that moment with Gavin was supposed to be a payoff of the fact that they've been working together for a while and formed I wouldn't say a friendship, but on some level, a working relationship. And that Gavin was like, what the fuck are you doing, you piece of shit? But they didn't build it up enough, so it didn't fucking matter. Hey, Tim F. Wait, great to see you, motherfucker. Two Crocs says, what the fuck, Phil? David is gone. It's one of those nights, everybody, and the night has many surprises. We're almost done here with The Walking Dead, but we'll see what else happens. Let's zip through the rest of this episode. And as I said, if anyone else wants to get their voice in this conversation, you don't have to, but we do have a voicemail line at 781-990-8509 if you want to leave your thoughts on this episode, why you think David and I are completely wrong, why you think we're right, just your thoughts in general on this episode in this half a season of The Walking Dead. So then we get Ezekiel, who locks the doors and says, I'll deal with this shit. So we go over to Maggie and Gregory wants to talk some shit, and I will...
Shut up. What happened out there?
Shut up. What?
That one. Get him out. He gets out.
So let's just yada this. Maggie lets out the dick guy that she should have killed 3 episodes ago, and she decides to shoot him in the face. Love this scene. One of my favorite scenes in the episode. I love that. I love when Maggie actually is the character she is and isn't some hollow representation of what Maggie used to be, which she's been for a season and a half. But in this half a season, occasionally, the real Maggie has shown up, and she showed up in this moment, David. I loved her in this moment.
Yeah, I thought it was great. One thing, just to make that more intense, is I would have shown her face in a quick shot of her shooting the dude head on. I want to see the splatter, and then I also want to see the blood splatter all over Greg's face.
Yeah, and as Patricia says, excuse me, as Patricia says in the live chat, she didn't even kill the douchebag, meaning Gregory, I think. So hopefully she'll eventually kill Gregory as well, because that would be amazing to see him finally get his complete comeuppance. So Maggie is mobilizing. She's actually Maggie again. She's like, Jesus, I don't want to hear your fucking bullshit. And we hear sad music because Maggie's losing her soul doing all of this, but fucking whatever. K-Rich said at this point, might have made more sense to show it when you have a semi-armored column of weapons. Corey said, oh no, we lose a stupid savior number 6712 and funny-ass guy with a country accent. They're making Game of Thrones look tame. Timo says, now an hour and 15 minutes and all of our people are alive and I'm not even bloodthirsty tonight. They just make me think I should just be just wait for the big moment, and what they're talking about, that big moment's coming, they're fucking coming. So we come back in the bulletproof fog as we see the roadside assault as Dwight screams and he goes, it's over. Everybody, it's over. It's over. Come over here. It's fine. And we get this kind of moment where we think Dwight might be killed by Tara or Daryl, but it doesn't really happen. David, do you think Daryl or Tara should have killed Dwight in this moment, or do you think it's smart keeping Dwight around? It's weird to talk about an actual fact from the series and what's going on in the series rather than if it's shit or not. But ultimately, do you think this is a smart moment? Excuse me.
I think if I were personally doing that scene, I would have had it be like when Daryl had a knife right up against Dwight's eye, and I would have had it be way more like he was on the precipice of doing it. And I still would have liked to see Daryl really hurt him. like kind of do an Abraham thing, like punch him so hard or hit him with the gun so hard he hits the back of his head against the truck and like falls down and he's still shot there. And then Rosita comes and has to like drag his limp body or something. But I think Tara needs to not be on the show at all. So I really do not see a point for her. So like, I'm sorry. It's literally, she only has the same emotion as somebody else who's more important. So if by that logic, she shouldn't be there at all. They should just have the more important person, give them more time, take Tara completely out, save the money, give it to the more important people. And Eric White, you are wrong. You do not love Tara. You like her face or her tits. Now, hashtag Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, no. But, just wait till this show gets its fill of sexual harassment lawsuits, and then it'll never be the fucking same. Like, oh, God.
So we go over to Darrow, who's asking if what he did to Dwight, if what he did caused the escape. And he said no. Dwight says no, it is fucking Eugene. And we get a bunch of dirty looks like Eugene is fucking dead man walking. So we go over to Michonne, who goes up to Rosita and says something to Dwight, and he passes the message. They play a big giant game of telephone. So we go over to see the coffin, and we see the random dude number 38 and says Maggie writes some shit. It says we have 38 more prisoners, stand down. So we go over to Gavin the next scene, and he starts talking shit to Ezekiel. Let's listen to a little bit of that. Scotty. Play the fucking thing, Phil. I didn't play it.
Even in all she's good.
You want that? You know that. Now, a lot more people have to die.
Good delivery.
Just follow it.
And Morgan randomly shows up, and King Ezekiel, for some reason, again, the biggest problem I have, one of the biggest problems I have with this show is, and Joe talks about this a lot, the fact that when people hate each other, when you have a problem with a person and you live in a world like this, like the Walking Dead universe, we're talking about a fictional universe here, and you have your enemy in front of you that you've been wanting to kill, that you've been wanting to stop, the fact that so many of these folks decide to talk to them instead of shooting them dead when you have an opportunity to bothers me extensively. I think if The Walking Dead wants to be as good as The Walking Dead could be, it's in these moments when you have a character faced off, they're like, I'm going to kill you. It's more moments like Maggie, less moments like Gavin talking to Ezekiel, where why don't you just kill him right now? Or Karl with the bulletproof smoke,
Yeah, you need more, like, there's a great scene that sums up what you're talking about, which is where Merle is out looking for Michonne in like season 4 on the governor's orders, and he's out there with this Jewish-looking kid named Gargiulio, and Merle's like, you need to nut up, boy, otherwise I'm going to have to, knock your teeth in or something like that. And he's like, well, I'm going to tell on you to the governor that you didn't go and kill this girl and that we didn't finish it because I'm not going to stop. And then Merle does this whole fake out where he goes, you're right. Can't cut corners around this one. And he goes, hey, you hear that bird? And the guy goes, what? And then he just goes, bang, and just shoots the dude right in the face. I'm like, that should happen all the time. Like, anytime a character has a slight suspicion that somebody's going to fuck something up for them, they should just, boom, right in the face.
the Wild West, this is essentially.
Yeah, because it's like, you already are lucky enough to have lived this long, and you can't start taking chances right now. I don't think it's secure enough to be like, oh, yeah, well, now we can start, being more diplomatic about this. Yeah, he killed like a whole group of people that I know and care about, but I don't know. Something about me tells him he might be good in a few episodes. I don't know. But, just or sorry, by their logic, 2 days from now, I think I might feel completely different.
Great to see Jay in the live motherfucking chat. Catagate, Timo, Cannibal, all our good friends. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It means so fucking much. And all of our super chat donators tonight. You guys are amazing. Thank you for getting me fucking drunk. Then we see Daryl in the sewers, and they're dropping grenades everywhere, and Dwight's with them. So they kind of cut off whether they decide to keep Dwight alive. Tara doesn't kill him, or Daryl doesn't kill him, which I kind of hoped that they would do in that moment. I hope they kind of showed the same resolve that Maggie showed in that moment, but they decided to keep Dwight alive and settle things up after the fact. So we see Alexandria, and Daryl says sorry to Michonne, and Michonne ends up not going into the sewers, and she decides to go in full-on Leonardo mode with her katana. And she goes in, she just goes and starts killing some walkers and going crazy. We'll touch on Michonne a little bit later, but ultimately I think she was going to look for Rick. So then we go off to Rick in the woods. We finally get back to Mr. Ricker Grimes, which is a shame. I think we got too little of Rick, as much as I don't necessarily love this series. I've talked a lot about the series can always, regardless of the storyline, regardless of the bullshit that's going on, you can always count on Andrew Lincoln's amazing performance as Rick Grimes. And I feel like in these last couple of episodes of season 8, they undermined what they have by having him go to the trash people, which ultimately ended up being a red herring or just a pile of useless bullshit that amounted to nothing. So
pile of trash.
A pile of fucking douche-y trash. Exactly, David. So I think it's a fucking giant fail that you were taking your most interesting character, your most interesting force. Every episode should have... I'm suddenly thinking of the show Weeds. Not that it's an excellent show in all means, but what they always managed to do was always give you 70% or 60% of the show was the main character. That's the most interesting character. Same with Sons of Anarchy with fucking Jax. For good or for bad, they focus so much on those main characters. I think The Walking Dead, if they want to get back to the greatness of it all, needs to focus more attention on Rick Grimes and how everything focuses on him and how all these other characters are interacting with him. Part of the problem is there isn't any direction, or I just stopped to say the word focus again, but direction and pinpoint accuracy on one character that you can actually feel for. I think you've got to know your strengths here and know what you do great. And anything based around Rick and his fucking up and down is interesting. So why do you have to have only 2 episodes a season deal with Rick? Why not have 2 episodes a season deal with not Rick and have most of the season actually deal with him? Because Andrew Lincoln's the most interesting fucking thing on the show. And I think in this mid-season finale, you failed at dealing with what your most interesting character is. And Rick was kind of an afterthought. And that fucking sucks, David.
Yep. I 110% agree. I think the crux of this show, the reason we got into it, the reason we kept watching it, was to see the evolution and the mindset change of Rick Grimes. And it can change to be bad. It can, and then change back to being what we like. It could go from him being like, I'm going to bring people back to Alexandria, to I'm going to go rogue and kill everybody. It's good to see the turmoil and the conflict. And the reason there is conflict is because we know things about him. We know about all the shit that he's been through. So every action that he takes, we are seeing it through his lens. We're going, oh, so for him to want to save somebody, he has to get past all the times where he allowed someone to come into his life and then they fucked something good up. They fucked up something for his family or his, for Karl, or, like when he gets with Michonne, or he gets with that Jessie girl. The reason that has a lot of impact is because of the fact that we see how much he was fighting to try to save his marriage with Lori, and how big of a step this is in his growth, is going, I'm ready to try again. Like, and it had nothing to do with walkers or him doing anything crazy or going rogue, but it just showed the turmoil. And, same thing with Michonne. Like when he saw the girl fall off the ceiling when Negan at the very end of season 7, where he almost got hit with a bat or whatever, or Karl almost got hit with a bat and saved by Shiva. That look on his face when he thinks he might have lost Michonne, that hits us in the feels more, because it's like we understand all that they've been through and how they got to where they are. So that's why he's the most compelling, is because we know the most about him.
Exactly. And everything should be based around a focus around who he is and seeing things from his perspective. And I think where the show sort of started to fall out, a lot of people can easily point at the Glenn thing. But I think once they got to Alexandria, they sort of started to shift the focus, instead of everything coming from Rick's perspective, to a more ensemble cast kind of thing. And as much as they have a lot of good players, I think the show, to get back to being The Walking Dead and awesome, I think needs to focus from a television standpoint, even though maybe the comic or the graphic novel, whatever you want to call it, it can focus more on secondary characters and one-offs and storylines. That a television series needs to focus on a main character. What made things like The Sopranos, Breaking Bad, all those shows, The Wire is an anomaly to that, Oz an anomaly to that, where you had, multiple main characters in a bigger universe. But what makes a show really great is a main character that is compelling. Rick Grimes is compelling. The show has gotten away from having him as the direct focus. He's still a main part of the season, don't get me wrong, but everything should be from Rick's perspective. I think you need to simplify things a little bit for The Walking Dead to get amazing again.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think not necessarily more narrow, but just more focused on the people that we know the most about. Rick, Daryl, Michonne.
Yeah.
And I feel that this season, leading up to what happens at the end of the episode tonight, is what it lacked was focus, honestly, on Karl, because it's like, as much as I disagree with the acting choices and the look of the character and everything that's wrong with it, it could have been better had there had been more established focus of his mindset and where he is and all this.
This season in general, like it's just unfortunate that this season was so devoid of meaning for Karl, and it ultimately all culminated in this episode. That is the ultimate shame of it, because Karl was so lacking in this season, and just to kind of ham fist him into a focus point of this season or this half season where he wasn't really a focused character, it made it very obvious about the ultimate outcome to be a negative thing for Karl, and also just made it devalued everything else you did in this season if you were trying to create a deeper meaning behind it, because then you decided to focus this episode on a character that wasn't really important in this half a season. I don't know. It was just a big mistake. I think if you were going to do this at the end, you need to put Karl in more episodes.
Yeah, I agree. And I also feel like if you wanted this mercy prevails over my wrath to be a thing, you needed to establish it to where either seasons ago, maybe he stumbled across a book and he read that, and then all of a sudden this guy seasons later says it, and it reminds him of when he read that. Maybe his mom had said it to him in passing or phrased it differently, but it was that general premise. Or you have episodes where they are having these very nice, intimate discussions about life, just waxing philosophical, because Karl's never had that. Karl hasn't grown up having philosophy classes and teachers and going to college and experiencing that shit. So it's like when he meets somebody new with a completely different worldview, other than his dad and this small group of people, he gets a chance to learn and grow.
So then we get we get Karl. Then we get probably one of the better scenes, or probably my second favorite, or if not my favorite scene of the episode, where we get the Rick and Negan fight, where they just beat the shit out of each other. And you think Rick's going to get the best of him, but Negan puts up a good fight. He hits Negan with a bell eventually, as it looks like Negan's getting the best of the fight. He gets him on the ground, and he picks up Lucille, but somehow Negan kicks him or punches him or something like that. And then Rick goes after the gun, and instead of shooting Negan or finishing off the situation, he jumps out of the house. Maybe I missed something in that scene, taking notes, but I think it was a really good scene with them fighting. It was a good fight scene, very well choreographed, very fun. I like how David mentioned this earlier in the evening about I like how Rick called him out and said, "Do you ever shut up?" There's a lot of humorous stuff going on in this scene.
Don't make me do this now, Rick. I got plans for you. Cut you up in little bitty pieces, feed you to death, and make you watch.
So our next scene after that is we see Michonne kill a walker or kill somebody, and we see her looking for Rick as she runs off into the fog. A savior finds her and talks some shit to her, and she goes full on hacker slasher mode, and she slashes the fuck out of him over and over again as Rick comes back in here and sees her. To finish off this episode, Rick eventually heads into the sewer system to see Master Splinter and find out the origin of the Ninja Turtles, but he also sees Maggie's face. And then we get into another fucking montage, little fucking moment of a face thing. And as you can tell, I'm trying to get a music thing. Face. So sorry to people that are listening to the audio podcast on this point.
We made faces.
That's what was going on there. We had a face moment. So David and I had our face off, and we're not talking about the Nicolas Cage and John Travolta movie. So we see Rick walking as he sees all the faces. We see Rosita. We see sad Tara. We see Rick show some shame to Tara for going against him. We see Carol's face. We see Ezekiel's face. We see Morgan's face. We see Rick walking slowly as he sees Karl. And he sees Karl's friend, whatever that dude's name is. Sadiq, thank you. Karl says, "I brought him here." We hear Karl's voice. Karl's sitting there not looking too good. And that's how it happened. I saved him. And we never saw, and he shows him the music pans out as we see Karl showing his wound as he got bit and everything. It zooms out very, very slowly. Very, very slowly. Zoom. And that's the end of the episode.
Yes, it is.
So, ultimately, I thought this mid-season finale was slightly disappointing, especially for the hype that they built up. I think the most disappointing thing is there were some elements in this episode that were potentially decent, but it didn't amount to anything. It was just fucking bullshit. The same thing The Walking Dead has always been putting out this season. I think for the whole season, 2 episodes were really good. The episode I ended up recapping with Tony, the Ezekiel, the episode that Shiva died, even though that emotional moment didn't hit for me, I think in general that was a decent episode. And I also think the premiere was pretty good and had me feeling good about the potential of this season. But ultimately, this half a season amounted to just doing the same thing, too much repetition, and not enough Rick or character development or progression. I don't like this habit that The Walking Dead is falling into in some seasons, making them just last a minute or a couple of days. I think that worked once or twice. Breaking Bad did a season once where the beginning of the season was an event and how everything fits into that particular event. Doing things like that once or twice, they didn't do that every season. The Walking Dead seems to be falling into this trap of consistency of doing this time as started to stand still. And I don't like that. And I hope in this second half of the season, they actually progress fucking time. And I'm not talking about progressing time with a montage. I mean, in the actual story, showing through the progression of story, time passing, without just fucking making things so event heavy at the end of the seasons. And this end of the season event lacked balls, David.
Yeah, I agree. I will say this. I thought the shot at the very end of the episode was a very nice shot. I was giving it crap before, but that was just because it's easy to do. But I did like the shot, but it was very lackluster. And like Phil said, because of all the hype that you build up and because of all the spoilers that you give out and how you just let people kind of the fan base take over the show, and you to where if they go, if this guy dies, we riot. If this girl dies, we riot. If this happens, if anything happens, we riot. If women look inferior on the show, we riot. If Rick is on the show too much, we riot. If they don't, there's too many walkers on this show. There's too much gore on this show. Can't have gore on it. It's like, I want to show my kids The Walking Dead. It's like
they can dress like zombies on Halloween. Oh, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's like, guys, this show used to have major balls, and they used to do the zombie thing right. And they did the best looking zombies. They did the very unique things. I remember before I saw the episode Guts in season 1, I had never thought of that. When I first saw that, I was literally on the edge of my seat going, holy shit, that's a brilliant idea. And I never thought of it. And I was like, that's what The Walking Dead does right, is it makes you think, man, that's a really clever ass idea in the apocalypse and in the given situation. And they haven't done that right for a few seasons.
Yeah, I 100% right, David. Are you ready for a couple of voicemails?
Yeah, do it.
We have 2 voicemails right now. If anyone else wants to get a voicemail or text in some question or comment that we haven't got to that you want to get in, again, 781-990-8509. But we have 2 messages, one from Broke, one from area code 202. So let's listen to these 2 messages. First from Broke Black Man 94. Let's get to it.
Hey, Phil, and also The Walking Dead. I was like, tune in for a second so I can get this actual number so I can actually leave the damn voicemail. I should eventually start saving it. I'm going to keep calling in now and again.
Do it.
For starters, fuck Rosita. Secondly, this episode was kind of decent, though I'm not going to lie. In my opinion, it was better than last week's episode, to the point that I almost dropped the damn show. But no, it lived up to the damn hype. Everyone was saying that, rumors are going around that Karl was going to die. I was like, doubt Karl was going to die. Why? Because, I've skimmed past future, issues and stuff, and I kind of know that, Karl was going to be surviving. So I was like, yeah, I doubt that. If anything, they're going to kill off Morgan, or they might kill off Michonne because, she's working on those Marvel movies now. But in reality, they actually got him freaking bitten. I'm fairly shocked about that. Why did he did that? I wanted to, at least Karl at least have sex with Edith and then get bitten in the next episode, but that didn't happen. So he's basically going to die a virgin. Now it's like the horror movie trope where you don't have to be a virgin and live is out of the window in The Walking Dead, which means, Daryl, you could end up dying soon. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
And I'll play the rest of your message in a second. I know Joe and I were talking about this last week. I kind of expected Daryl to die in this episode, and him not dying definitely deballed the episode too. The big shock, with Karl just wasn't as effective as it could be.
I think it was a cop-out. I think this was a classic case of dumbing down the gore. I think they had a better thing written, and because of the outcry of there being too much gore, they dumbed it down. and like really dumbed it down. I'm like, we've seen a lot of bites on this show before, like bite reveals and stuff. Remember when Deanna had it?
Mm-hmm.
They showed it on her back, and it looked like it was all the way into her fatty tissue. Like,
I want to make those sorghum pancakes.
You fill your belly up with my love.
Let's play the rest of Brooks' message.
But seriously, though, speaking of Edith, Dumbass Award goes to you for this episode. Because now we don't know what the hell is going to happen over at Oceanside with Aaron because of your stupidity. Even she can even die. But because of her stupidity,
Enid.
she shot the old woman.
Enid,
and now,
yeah, she called her Edith.
They not even like follow with them. Granted, they are going to, but there might just be some repercussions. I don't know. It's just thinking about it though. But just seeing this episode between like Rick and Negan, like it would have been better if we freaking got the Negan origin story. I'm still like waiting for this. Now I gotta wait till February or maybe even like wait till April so I can actually get this damn Negan origin story. Like, come on, people, come on. You know, it's like I'm not getting any younger as it is. But yeah, other than that, good episode. Not gonna lie, but I got confused at one point. Like, was that Jerry who Simon actually had a gun to? Like, I was like, wait a minute, how could they run him off the road? And yet still Jerry's there. And I'm like, why? And then like Rick and Carol were able to like get away scot-free. Are they speedsters now? It's like something is not right. I don't know. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, they had the speed. They took speedster number 8, the potion that Harrison Wells built. The Harrison Wells mixed up. Yeah, I agree. It didn't make a lot of sense. So we have 2 more voicemails. Let's play this from area code 202.
I was wondering, with Karl getting bit in the stomach, obviously they can't.
Are you
like,
eating while you leave a voicemail?
Hear him, I don't know, cut off his waist to stop the infection, like like they did with Maggie's father, like when they cut off his leg. Does this major character of Karl dying make you believe in the premise that no one in the show is safe anymore again?
Good call, Jay. Although I am very hungry because I want to know what you're eating.
Can you tell me what he said? Because I stopped listening. I can't listen to people smack on a fucking voicemail.
He said, do we think that with what happened to Karl, do we think they could do something like Herschel and cut off a part of his body to save him? And if not, with Karl dying and this happening, do we think that this reaffirms and organizes again that thought that anyone could die at any point in time? The first part because he got bit on his chest or in his stomach area, I don't think they could really stop the infection at this point the way he was bit. The other part of it, maybe, but they did it so predictably in this episode, it's hard to feel like anything could happen at any point in time. And I think that's part of the problem. We've talked about this a little bit before, and I talked about this extensively about letting us know that there was a fucked up thing kind of happening at some point in this episode.
Dude, I just thought of something. Somebody earlier was mentioning like, oh, maybe he's immune or whatever. I was like, check this out. What if he was immune due to the fact that Rick gave him a blood transfusion in season 2?
Interesting. So he sort of has the zombie.
He was given the cure because his dad gave his blood, and Rick's blood has.
It wouldn't surprise me the way this show is right now if they go to anything like that to keep Karl alive. It honestly wouldn't surprise me. So let's listen to our last voicemail of the evening about The Walking Dead. This is from our good buddy Hannibal.
Oh shit. Oh, that was fucking Littlefinger. Hey, this is Hannibal. Just say what's up, Phil. Yeah, I got shit faced during this
Me too.
Live stream, so thank you for that.
No, thank you.
What the fuck am I doing calling here? Anyways, yeah, don't play this. Later.
I can't listen to it and not play it. Sorry, Animal. I fucked that one up. Lots of love.
Yeah, don't play this. I love how that's at the very end.
Yeah, don't play this. So
Listen, if you're listening to this, don't play this.
David, thank you so much for joining me for this Walking Dead recap. Thank you to everyone in the live motherfucking chat for joining me, joining both of us to talk about this season finale of The Walking Dead. We'll be back in February or whenever The Walking Dead comes back to talk about the back half of the season as well. I don't know if we're going to be talking about week to week, depending on what else is on, but we'll see about that, and we'll get Joe every other week, and maybe we'll get Joe's thoughts at some point in time on this season finale. But David, I'm not done with you. So David, if people want to find more from you, where can they find you?
Well, here at the Walking David, my YouTube channel, I need to start putting out some more content. I have some ideas for some impression videos I'm going to be doing in the upcoming weeks, but I won't lie, I've been slacking a bit. I've been uploading golf videos on my channel lately. But so for golfer fans, go and critique my swing and tell me what the fuck I need to fix at the top. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Mr. David Grayson, all lowercase, no period. And I also have a Twitter at David Grayson. So pretty much if you type in my name, you'll be able to find me.
Excellent. And we got Joe Dirty Locks in the live chat who hasn't watched the episode yet, but he's popping on in to say hi to everybody and giving.
All right, don't spoil shit for Joe, people. Seriously, don't leave anything in the comments yet. If he hasn't seen it yet, don't say anything.
It's all in the hips. We got K Rich, Penny Lane, SM Down, Jay, Timo. Lots of love to everyone in the live chat that joined us tonight. So if you haven't already, you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. We will talk to you guys next time. David will definitely be back very soon to talk about some more Walking Dead, but also we'll be back more. So also check the description box of this video if you're watching this later. If you're listening to the podcast, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, and let me know. Email me at igotissuesman@gmail.com. I want to know if you're listening to the podcast. Follow me on Twitter at igotissuesman. And check out The Walking David on Facebook. Do that. And then, share the video, share the channel. But guess what? We will talk to you guys next time. Later. Okay, we're not done.